Hello guys, welcome to another podcast. This is Shagun Mahajan from Branding and Collaborations team of GeeksforGeeks. Today we have with us Priya Vajpeyi, a career coach, LinkedIn influencer with 150k followers and a female entrepreneur. Hi Priya, welcome.
Hi Shagun, thank you so much for having me here at Geek for Geeks. I think Geek for Geeks have had such an prominent place within my lives and probably every coder's life out there. So super excited to be here.
I think coding is still an unconventional path for females and we see more males into it than females. Even personally, I feel कि male creators ज़्यादा हैं, female कम है. तो आज we thought let's invite you over and have a discussion and let's see कि how does it feels to be on the other side.
Right.
So let's take the questions.
I completely hear you out on this, Shagun, because being someone who has been from the same background, I'm a woman, that too in tech, navigating my way through it, I've seen that too. Most of the creators here that you see in tech versus most of the people in your team or most of the folks there talking about tech are predominantly, they seem to be from the other side of it. That is, they're coming from the male background. But to be very honest, after 2018 onwards, everything has gone digital and I've seen such a upliftment in terms of the women's mentality that, we are very good in tech too. We can, stand up for ourselves and we can start actually be very proud of what we actually come from. If we are from tech and if we know what we do, if we love and we are proud of our background, then probably there's nothing which can stop us. So yes, despite the fact that maybe males are a little more, probably we the women are still on the right track to just beat that level up.
Definitely. I completely agree with you on that. So Priya, so let's start with the questions. So the very first question I have for you is about your journey. So let's tell people about how did you start it? Like we can, briefly take them through all the tech journey that you have had.
Again, being a girl, so I think in my 12th I never wanted to take up engineering. That just comes in very naturally. Ladka hoga to engineer banega, ladki hogi to doctor banegi.
True.
That's wherein I also started my journey from. But to be very honest, when I started taking up medical, I liked biology, but I wanted to navigate more towards mathematics.
Okay.
Something unconventional happening back at my home. But nevertheless, my parents supported. All of our girls' parents, they do support us no matter how high our ambition is. Then that's when I took my coaching, couldn't make it to IITs, but again, not being discouraged by it, I started honing it that, okay, this is my reality, I'll make it big from this point onwards. I ended up coming to JIIT, studied my 4 years there, started my GPA graph from a solid 7. That's wherein I was actually advised to come back home to take BSc and MSc, and I was like, no, that's not the point wherein I'm stopping. Being a woman, this comes naturally to us. This is one power, this is one, I would say, instinct, which is being strong and a never say die attitude, which we women are naturally tuned with.
Definitely.
Yeah. So that's when I continued my journey, graduated from JP, and I actually got a solid GPA of 10 in my final semester.
Oh my God, that's great.
Yeah, that was just great. My parents were finally satisfied, ban gaye engineer. I got an opportunity with Morgan Stanley, then I was with Adobe over 2.5 years. So that's how my journey has been. And one thing which was constant is no matter whether you're a male or a female, it's just that you have to keep upskilling. Upskilling never stops in the world of tech. That's what I know for sure.
Definitely. Upskilling is the most important thing. I personally also feel that, right? Yeah. So moving on to the next question. So, हम सबके role models होते हैं, right? And you are in programming, right? You have done coding for I think 3-4 years,
yes.
Right? So who was your role model if I ask you?
So I'll be honest, in college there was no role model as such because college mein most of the girls or guys, they're all lost probably. They are actually in the hustle of finding themselves. They are trying to figure out who they are, which line they should be going into, whether that's management or that's engineering, to be very honest. But then after graduating, when I was back at Morgan Stanley, there was this senior manager, I'll not name them here, not sure if they would want to be called out, but I really look up to him for the sole reason of being a supporter more than a tech person. He was so phenomenally well that even I remember in the discussions wherein vice presidents are there. So at Morgan Stanley, they have VPs, senior VPs. So even when directors, SVPs are discussing on a topic, and if that's related to tech, that person will be included. He was that good with his knowledge. But then I joined in as an intern, that to a girl, only girl in the entire team right there. And he was literally there as my stern support. So that's wherein two things happened. He became my role model for two things. His expertise in the technical domain as well as his honest support, his genuine respect for promoting women in tech. I mean, that was such a pure intention. So I've been in touch with him ever since then and it's just been really good.
That's great. That's actually wonderful. We all need such support, right? That
Absolutely.
helps a lot. I mean, So moving on to the next question. See, I just want to ask you personally if you have witnessed any, such kind of a situation where you have seen that female have gotten less opportunities, maybe, or given less preference than their male employees. Maybe in instances if you have faced, or if not then maybe you have witnessed somewhere in the company.
Or all the places, Shagun. To be honest, being into the I would say public figure arena, you get to come across so many people. It's a fortunate thing also, and sometimes you feel very sad because you're not able to help everybody who's reaching out to you. So I've seen many women reaching out to me, like I cannot even number those people enough, who have come to me saying that, Priya, we went, of course, they got their maternity leave done, they bear their child. It is such a tiring process itself. Now they want to be back. They were really phenomenal at their work, but they were not just given any opportunity. So this is one case. Apart from that, if I were to tell you from my own very personal experience too, I think I've seen it all the places. I've been with 2 to 3 companies and my internships altogether now. Every single company, no matter how big or how small it was, this bias was there. I've personally faced this too. So no matter how great you are with your technical expertise, and not just in tech, I've seen it in every single field, women do still have to prove themselves out. I mean, it's not that you will not be given opportunity. Opportunities will be there lying on the table, but you cannot grab it up as easily as your male counterpart can probably. So that's wherein I feel we as women need to uplift ourselves. We have to empower ourselves into our minds more than ever. So once we are very confident within ourselves, who we are, what do we know, and we stand for ourselves, that's wherein probably no hurdle can stop us.
Definitely. We all need to actually, understand that and work in that direction, right? So moving on to the next question. देखो basically opportunities is one thing, right? But कई बार हम अपने आप को भी underestimate करते हैं.
Surely.
काफी लोग ऐसे होते हैं, we feel that कि यार हमसे नहीं होगा. So what do you think about it? Like, what are your opinion on it?
Again, if I come from the women POV point of view here, this is the biggest barrier that we have in our lives. Underestimating ourselves, undermining our own desires, undermining our own ambitions, and kind of not thinking high enough to get ourselves reach that point. Why do I say this? I have seen it all over my life. You must have experienced this too, Shagun. If there is an opportunity lying on the table, we'll be like, it would be such a waste of time if we apply for this, if we take part in this only because somebody else is going to win it. Yeah. Why isn't there this confidence that if I take part into this, I'll be the only one championing it for sure? Right? So that's the biggest problem. I can 100% resonate with that, because for us, the girls, like I said, to the answer to my last question, it was also coming from the very same perspective. It's not the outer barriers, not the extrinsic problems that are holding us back. It's more of our intrinsic barriers, whatever we have limited ourselves to in our own minds. So probably, yes, this is the problem. We need to realize this, and perhaps we need to tackle this. If we tackle this once, then probably we can actually get to start seeing miracles. I've seen that happening in my own life. Taking a leap of faith from Adobe to start something on my own, that was such a big leap that I had to make. But to be honest, if I were to tell you about who was standing behind my back, it was most of the male support. So they are right there to support you. It's just that stop limiting yourself. Stop just kind of, take off those blinds off from your eyes.
Actually, we really need to, start motivating ourselves. Yes. Self-motivation is very important. Correct. So when you say that you have motivated, you have motivated yourself, right? You started your own company. So what suggestion do you have? We all know this is a problem. We underestimate, personally I'm asking this, yes. We underestimate ourselves. So आपका personal suggestion क्या है? कैसे we can improve upon it?
I think ये क्वेश्चन बहुत ज़्यादा हेल्पफुल होने वाला है हम सब के लिए, नो मैटर किस रन में है हम अपनी लाइफ के अभी, whether we are a student as a girl student, or we are someone into the industry as a tech, women in tech, that's what we call it, or you're someone trying to start up something new, or even you're someone you are entering your new phase of life, be it as a mother, be it as a wife, whatsoever. Here in Women's Day today, there's one thing that I want to cascade, which is again coming from a male, that is coming from my dad, which is start to overcome the fear of failure. Okay, think of the worst. Okay, what will happen in the worst? It is going to take away any sort of knowledge from me? No. Anything which I have gained or already accomplished over my past? No. Whatever I'm putting my efforts into right now might end up succeeding, or they might end up failing. But that fear itself is stopping you from conquering the world. So the only advice that my dad gave me, a super dad to his super daughter, that's what we used to call each other. So that's something I would cascade. I mean, just go on, just overcome the fear of failure, and the world is all yours.
That's great actually, that's wonderful, and I'm sure काफ़ी help हो गई हम सब women को इस चीज़ से, right? And last question I have Priya for you is कि GFG के काफ़ी audience freshers है, so what happens is like काफ़ी female students हैं, they face this problem. Like personally जो मुझे लगता है कि opportunities तो हैं, contests हैं, hackathons है, बहुत कुछ है, लेकिन वो opportunities they don't stand up and go and get the opportunities. Opportunities available हैं आज everywhere around the corner. So what do you think? What are your suggestion कि what are your views on it? आपको कैसे लगता है कि क्या करना चाहिए उनको? How can they avail it?
So, Shagun, I think, I don't know where have you come up with these questions from, but such a spot on questions. Like, if I'm actually positioning myself to be back in, the college, or to be sitting in my office, just coming across this podcast and everything strikes a chord with me. Every single question, every single point. So, I think that is the next step. Once you overcome the fear of failure, that's when you start to realize that, okay, we have a plethora of opportunities around us today. It's not like 2015, 2014, wherein you had to really search over the internet day in and day out. You had to go through journals and everything. Do I have a competition? You open up a website, and especially Geek4Geeks is the mecca for tech people out there. You come on this platform, I think I have not seen even a single day when there was not any contest going on live, right? Even for women, for men, everybody, they have every sort of contest on. So plethora of opportunities is there, but it's you who's right now encaptured within a shell. It's just that you need to break it first. You need to overcome that fear of failure, start to realize, and don't apply for everything, right? Just go ahead, target things, have that vision. What do you want to achieve in your life? If you are taking part in this competition, what is that you expect to take away from it? And that's wherein, again, don't hold yourself back. At least try. In the worst case scenario, you'll not make it, but you'll have another experience to at least showcase in your CV. Okay, so that's the plus point of it, and probably, yes, this is the problem which needs to be tackled. All of you girls out there.
Yeah, definitely. That was quite helpful. I hope audience must have enjoyed it, right? So it was great talking to you, Priya. Thank you so much for your time. It was wonderful.
It was lovely being here, Shagun. Thank you so much for having me.